within the week. Let's just quickly have business this day and see what on the front page of business this day. All right, what's toughest awaits Tinubu? Okay, what's toughest job awaits Tinubu? And of course, just to let you know that the inauguration for the president-elect will be coming up on May 29th, and certainly activities are already rolling up. But the question in the hearts of many Nigerians now is, what would the president-elect do? How will he face the economy squarely, owing to the fact that economy in almost every part of the world is actually being affected? And just to let you know that Dangote makes history as, of course, the president, the commander-in-chief of armed forces, inaugurated the Dangote refinery in Lagos, Nigeria. But that's it on the papers that we have today. We'll quickly go straight into our first segment this afternoon, as we have our guest in the studio. We'll be looking at the economic effect of entertainment industry in Nigeria. In the studio with us this beautiful afternoon, we have in the studio pharmacist Irabo. He's a business analyst, and of course, he's also a political analyst. Glad to have you on the show, pharmacist Irabo.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, and of course, from my extreme left is not a person than Dr. Henry Obidi. Dr. Henry Obidi is a filmmaker, is a producer. He's also a youth rehabilitator. Glad to have you join us today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay. The incoming president will be inaugurated by May 29th. So many things to talk about as far as business is concerned. The effect or the importance of entertainment industry in our economy is our talking point this afternoon. Let's quickly start with you, pharmacist. Dr. Herring, what do you make of this?
Yeah, the impact of the entertainment industry in Nigeria it's quite immeasurable. You can't quantify it. You know, starting from the early days of entertainment generally, and then how we have grown and metamorphosized to what we have here. Entertainment generally, as of today, cumulatively produces about $5 billion to the Nigerian economy, and if you look at it cumulatively, it's going to be almost 5% of the country's GDP. And all of that, and then the entertainment industry employs about 1 million people yearly. So you can imagine what that has done to the unemployment ratio that we have in Nigeria. And then beyond that as well, you see that in every home in Nigeria, if you have 4 children, you would have 1 or 2 of them telling you that they are interested in any form of any genre of entertainment, be it singing, be it dance and this. And then it grew so much that by 2013, after the production of the film by Genevieve, Lion's Heart, the Netflix actually came into Nigeria, and the first voting for funds that they had was about $8 billion to the film industry for a purchase of Nigerian-made movies. And right now, as I speak with you, Nigerian movies are competing favorably all over the world. Nigerian music has taken over the world. There's no part of the world that you will go to that you will not hear Nigerian music. Nigerian sculptures, arts, you know, is everywhere. There's nowhere you would not find it. And for this reason, we also have said, not just by us, the World Estimate has said that Nigeria on its own is the 2nd largest producer of films in the whole world. You know, Bollywood is number 1, then Nollywood is number 2. Hollywood, which is US, is number 3. So if Nigeria has ever gotten anything right, any sector right, any industry right, it is the entertainment industry. So you can't measure its level of impact on the economy of this country.
Okay, let's quickly come to pharmacist Rabo now. Looking at the entertainment industry holistically, do you think it's have any prospect?
Wow. In fact, you cannot talk of any viable economy without looking at the entertainment industry. Take, for example, the US, based on my research, in fact, about 150 billion US dollar is being generated from entertainment.
Okay.
Like my colleague said, why Nigeria comes second in the production of movies, about 2,500 movies annually.
That's right.
And Nigeria is generating about 6.4 billion US dollar. That industry. Now, when we talk about entertainment, it has different setup.
Okay.
Now, first of all, we have the movie industry. We have the music industry. We have the gaming industry,
Okay.
which is even more trending now. Is even having the highest revenue for
So
most
apart from
developed
the
countries.
music and
Yes.
movie, okay.
We have the music is there. We have the gaming industry, especially with the advent of mobile gaming, whereby even a 5-year-old can play a game with a phone. So all of this, when we're talking about improving the economy, Nigeria, the funny thing is that our government has not been doing so much about entertainment. If you really look at the success that has been made so far, is hardly contributed by the private industry. Individuals who have beautiful idea innovations, they've come into the entertainment. But what about the government? Looking at the US government contributes almost about 2% of their budget into entertainment.
Wow.
What is Nigeria doing? And the entertainment industry can really generate us a lot of funds.
Okay.
Because when you talk about business, there are a lot of business that is tied to entertainment. We talk about tourism, we talk about accommodation, we talk about transportation. All of these, it creates a lot of job opportunities. Like take for example in the US precisely, about 120 billion of watch hours in entertainment. And all of this is tied to little businesses here and there, and people are being employed. So if Nigeria government can really come up with policy, in fact, they then create a certain budget for entertainment.
Okay.
And see how this industry will do even much better. It is even projected that by 2025, the Nollywood industry will be worth more than 15 billion US dollar.
Okay.
So you can see, like last year budget was about the GDP that entertainment contributed as of last year was about 2.3%
Yeah.
of our gross domestic product. So imagine if the government come in and invest money into this, we're going to be seeing more than that.
So now from his submission, without government involvement, the entertainment industry can contribute up to 2.3% to the GDP. Do you think if government now starts involving themselves financially, we might have something bigger than that? Dr. Harry?
Yes, I would want to say if government involves themselves in realistic terms and in all sincerity, because I remember in 2017, I remember in 2014, there has been an attempt by the government, the then government, to pump money into entertainment. There was a time that about 200 million was released. There was a time that about $8 million was actually released to the entertainment industry, and we read it in the news. We were excited because these monies were supposed to be spread using the Bank of Industry and all of that. And to be honest with you, I've been in this business for years now. That money did not get to a lot. In fact, I have not met any friend who is a producer director like myself that actually benefited from these monies, from the then government, or would I say the good luck Ebele Jonathan.
So despite your involvement, despite your commitment,
despite
this
all
money
of
didn't
this,
get to you.
we didn't get it, and a lot. And then at some point, the BOI said they didn't even see, I think, the 200 million that was given to them to give to entertainers as grants. So, you know, it's one thing to pump money into a sector. It's another thing to put a monitoring unit.
Okay.
To make sure that it gets to the actual producers, the people who would actually utilize these funds to do these projects and stuff like that. So the question of government getting involved is, I mean, government has always been involved, but the problem is the bottlenecks that we have had. There's no administration. Even the current administration have gotten involved in one way or the other in different states. Right now we're in Edo State, and I can tell you I'm here because of the government's involvement in entertainment, you know, and the relationship that we have, my company and the government is sharing as at now. And so the government has always been involved, but then we have bottlenecks. So there are a lot of perils that the entertainment industry is going through, and we still yield what we yield, irrespective of these perils of piracy, perils of not getting access to funds, despite the creativity that exists in the creator, perils of your project being copyrighted, not being copyrighted, or being taken by somebody else, and then the institution that should protect the copyright is not standing the way it's supposed to stand to fight for that one whose copyright has been infringed as it's supposed to be. So all of these perils are there, yet we produce this. So if government can come up not just with investing or putting in funds, but also following through the administration of the funds sincerely, I tell you, entertainment in Nigeria, Nollywood will go beyond what they are saying.
I'd like you to react to the bottlenecks you talk about. I think that has to do with corruption. Do you think if we take corruption off the government, to an extent, we're going to have the government involvement, and of course, the money that is supposed to get to the original users, it gets to them? Is it possible?
You see, there's nothing that cannot be done. You see, when the head is corrupt, what do you expect of the other parts of the body? You see, when infection begins to spread, if it starts from the brain, it's going to spread to every other part of the body, definitely. So, if really, like he said, a lot of money was pumped in, but he as a producer never got a dime. So the question is, what happened to those money?
Who took the money?
Who took the money?
Who got it?
So if really the government want to do something, like he said, there should be a monetary committee to follow up how this money is being spent. Did it really get to the original people that are supposed to get this money? And this can be done. It can be done. Because those who took this money, they are not ghosts, they are human beings. Yes. The money got to somebody's table, right? The check was signed.
I wouldn't know.
I
wasn't there.
If the money was disbursed, it must get to somebody else.
Okay.
So corruption, in the aspect of corruption, you know that the Nigeria Institute as a nation is deeply rooted in corruption.
Okay. All right. Now let's now look at entertainment holistically. Parents or some persons feel the entertainment world is a place where lazy people just want to hang around or cover up from, and they see it as where people who are not serious with their lives get to cling on. Personally, I'll share my personal story. When I was growing up as a young man, I love music. I got to a point I got a box guitar, but my uncle refused. He said, okay, you want to start keeping Dada, you want to start tying bandana and all that, and he stopped me. But anyway, that didn't stop me anyway. When I got to the institution, I tried to do one or two things, some music. So can we now start looking at it? Is it true that entertainment is evil? Is it true that entertainment is not healthy or it's not ideal for us?
Well, I must say that being in the industry and also expressing the other sentiments that I share as a person, you know, I've been questioned that how could you be such a person in the Christendom and then you're a film producer and director, how do you balance the two lives? And then I begin to wonder where did the two lives, or where these two lives we're talking about, where is it? Because
so how do we strike a balance?
How do you strike a balance? Let's go back to the definition of this word entertainment.
Okay.
Entertainment is coined by three words from Greek and Latin. You have intra, you have tain, and then you have ment. So these three words make up the etymology of that word entertainment. And entra means to enter. Ment means tain means to take over, and then ment is the mind. So entertainment is simply to enter the mind and take over. It is actually a process of, it's actually a tool of influence, a tool of leadership, and a tool of creating a moral compass, moral perception, and also trend. That means that this entertainment we're talking about, beyond the business aspect of it, is the instrument used by developed country to create a public perception of anything at all.
Okay.
So it's...
I'd like you to expatiate on that.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is this. Now, everything, the decisions people take, the clothes you wear, your haircut, the glasses you put on, the shoes you wear, the decisions, your perception, your point of view, how you see life, is dependent on what you have been exposed to,
okay,
in terms of what you have been watching, visual, what you have been hearing, and what you have been reading over the years. These particular things you see takes charge of your subconscious mind and informs the decision you take.
Okay.
And you know that we are all products of the decisions that we have always taken over time.
Okay.
Now, entertainment is 90% the tool that is used for this social influence. When in US, in London, and in every other country, why they actually invest and protect the entertainment industry, because if you invest in the entertainment industry, it means that you can actually determine and censor the kind of movies that is being portrayed. Anytime you watch an American film, the president of America is always seen as a man who is a warrior, who can go and rescue his people.
And defend the people.
Defend the people. There is always a specific slogan that presents America as America is one and every other person follows. This affects the psyche of not just Americans, but every other person. So because the government is interested, and it's the same with Bollywood, they have not lost their culture up till today. They still have, they are not alienated from their customs, their culture, because the government is fully involved in their entertainment process. They understand the power of neurocinematics. All I have just explained is neurocinematics, taking care of the mind, charge of the mind, using what people see over the years.
Okay.
Sorry if I may add, to just portray. Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Obama, before that election, you would see that a series was done in US. And in that series, you had Jack Bauer, you had a black president, and they made him a hero and a man of truth. That gave a culture to the American president, because it gave them the possibility of a black man existing in a White House. So when the election was done, it wasn't strange to vote for a black man.
So it shaped the decision.
It shaped the decision, yes.
Okay, we'll quickly take a short break now, and when we return, we continue on the discussion. Don't go nowhere. All right, the life wire of every nation, the life wire for sustainability of any country lies on its strength. And what is that strength? Economy. We're still talking business on Business This Week, reaching you live from Independent Television. And of course, I still have my guests. We're looking at the economic impact of entertainment in our nation. We still have Dr. Henry Emeka Obidi. He's been here with us. And of course, our pharmacist, Irabo. Thank you so much. So let's quickly, you had the floor before we went on the break. Let's now look at let's touch the corruption aspect again. Because corruption, it's one kind of cankerworm that is really, really affecting our entertainment industry. Let's quickly look at it. Corruption.
Okay.
Can we ever overcome corruption?
Like I said, there's nothing that cannot be done. As long as your mind can conceive it, you can achieve it. So if we are really talking about fighting corruption, it won't start from the head.
Okay.
Like, if the president, take for example, cannot take a pin, who are you devised to take a pin? Or the governors, or the ministers, or the senators? So leadership by example, it must start from the top. Once that is achieved, you will just find that all other pieces will just fit in. It will just fit in. So I think it must start from the top.
Now, instead of playing the blame game on government, in the film industry, we have producers, we have directors, we have filmmakers who will not give roles to people if they don't get down to them. That's corruption. In the music industry, we have people who will take what you have and convert it to theirs, and of course make you look like you're worthless. That's corruption.
That's true.
It happens everywhere. We have producers who just have monopoly of your work, and it will not look like it will not look like a monkey the work, babu the chop setting. Let's look at it, Dr. Harry.
The truth, like you said, corruption is everywhere, and it has unkindly to us become the system here. If you're not corrupt, you will look like a stranger to the system that is in existence. Now, reducing this or specifying this or bringing this specifically to entertainment industry in general, be it music, be it films and all of that, it is true that we have corrupt people. And for this reason, a lot of individuals, like you said earlier, may look at the entertainers as people who are no do-wells, who are all of these things. But you see, I think that narrative is changing now.
Okay.
It's beginning to change, because these days I get emails, I get messages on social media, people DM me, oh, my daughter is talented in this and in that and in that and in this. Could you please help her? Could you please put my daughter in your film school? Could you please, my daughter is talented in this. So the awareness is increasing. And then the corruption, the moralistic, dilapidation of moralistic values that has pervaded the film industry is actually changing. When you come in, you would see that there are very disciplined individuals who are producers now, who are directors now. It is more of business. And if you compare the income then and now, you would see clearly the impact of the decisions that are being made right now. Right now, the guilds are stronger. I'm talking about the Actors Guild of Nigeria, the Directors Guild of Nigeria, the Association of Movie Producers. They hit strongly on these things that you have just mentioned. Each of these guilds now have task force. So if someone comes to the DGN or the AGN and complains, I went to work for this director and he molested me, that case is picked up immediately. All of these guilds have also associated with the Nigerian Police Force. So the PRO of the Nigerian Police Force works hand in hand with all of these guilds to make sure that whoever is found wanting, you know, in this area will be penalized, and a lot of arrests are going on as we speak. So for this reason, I want to also encourage every young person who is talented to join any of these guilds that associate with their talent, so that human beings like them would not victimize them. So things are changing.
Let's come back to Irabo Osasere. Let's look at the economic impact of the entertainment industry quickly.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this because when I did my research, I observed that Nigeria has been so dependent on oil and gas. And that is killing the nation. You see, when you only have one source of revenue, the nation will remain poor. And the entertainment industry has not been so well tapped into. When we talk about entertainment, we shouldn't see it as just the movie part. The entertainment industry is so wide. We have the sport industry there too. Now, the government need to come in. Let me tell you why I said so.
Tell me.
Like my colleague was talking about the US. How the US use the entertainment industry to influence the psyche of their citizens.
Yes.
Now, do you know that the entertainment industry can also be used to change our narrative as a nation?
So won't they hijack it and use it negatively?
No. What about the US? Because definitely, like the producer is here. There are rules and there are bodies that govern
regulate.
Yes. You understand? Just as the media is, there are certain things you can't say.
We have regulators, of course.
So, in the same way, if we begin to tell our story differently, we begin to portray Nigeria in a different outlook. And because of that, people would like to come here. And when people come here, it creates job opportunities for the locals. The tourist industry is another thing again. You know, it's also tied to entertainment.
Tourism?
Yes, tourism is tied to entertainment. It's the whole chain of network that can generate a lot of revenue. So when we begin to look into this, the music, do you know that the music industry in Africa, Nigeria is number one.
Yes.
Nigerian music is played all over Africa, even in the Western world. I used to see even Americans dance to Nigerian music.
So are you tempting me now to go and look for a producer?
All
Start, maybe I should go and, I need to start
All of this
thinking
shows
how to
that
become okay.
Nigerians have what it takes to make a great nation out of it. We need to tap into a lot in this nation.
All right, let's take your reaction.
Yeah, everything he has just said, it's the simple truth. You know, white, the way white is. If we can, you know, one of our major problems is corruption, not even interest. There is already there's a tsunami of interest going on as we speak. Almost everybody wants to be directly or indirectly involved in entertainment, especially, for the pharmacist, who is also an economist, analyst, my colleague here, to have gone into a deep research on entertainment and what it generates for the country. It means that directly or indirectly, he is generating an interest. Look at the skits industry, as small as that looks. Just the skits industry, you would not imagine what these young fellows make on a daily basis just by doing skits.
Do we have instances?
Do we have instances? Of course, you know the instances. I wouldn't want to give any publicity here and all of that. But then just go on Google and just Google any name of any of these guys, and you'll be amazed the cars, you'll be amazed the houses that they are buying. You'll be amazed how much they make.
And they're making it from content creation.
They are making it from content creation, from YouTube and all of that. Now, to make it impact on the economy genuinely, like we said before, we need to create a structure. Why is it? I would not want to go deep, but I'll just say it on the surface level. There's a movie that was released a few months ago. This particular movie touched a particular thematic preoccupation that did not go down well with the government in a particular state in Nigeria. Now the government made a move to ban that movie that is already doing well on Netflix.
So
and has already been viewed all over the world. Now, why? So you know the power that this particular movie has. You know the social influence that it can command. And then if you know the power that the film has and what it can command, control or command, and then you are threatened to the point that people will have a narrative that does not benefit the image of the government. And to have an image laundry, you decide to fight instead of approaching for conversation to see how a part two can come to correct whatever narrative that was expressed. Now, you know all of this. It means that there is an awareness from all phases of the strength that entertainment commands. If all of these things are known, why is it that we cannot take that same knowledge and say, if this instrument is so powerful, why don't we utilize it? Now, when we look at education, a lot of, education, you can do entertainment with education at the same time. Education is gotten from also two words, educare and educare. And it means to bring forth and to bring out. That means you cannot learn anything that you do not have any innateness of. So when you see people with certain passions, you see people with certain tendencies, this is who they are. But because of the imbalanced economy, they are forced into jobs, 9-to-5 jobs that do not go with the passions that they have. And this is where depression comes in, because impression without expression will lead to depression and frustration. So when you want to look at education in its sense, it means the potential that I have, educate me and build me, set up an educational structure that would help me build these potentials. And that is why when you see a young person, you watch American series, you see them from the age of 6, they start the series, and at the age of 22, they are still running that same series. They grow in the series, and already their entire family is being taken care of economically because of their involvement in the series. So I think we should have, the government should sit down, select a group of people who can sit back and structure the entertainment and then the educational sector, because they work hand in hand.
Okay, let's come back home now. Edo State particularly, the government of Edo State is doing well as far as entertainment is concerned. But do you think there are more work to do as far as boosting the economy, boosting the GDP of our nation, and of course, our state? Do you think there are other things to be done?
Yes, definitely. I for one, I feel the governor of the state can do more. He can do more. Like he said, they need to be a structure. Now, if there's any fund that is to be put into this, there must be individuals who are responsible for this. And then you cannot bring someone who is alien to the industry.
Okay.
It has to be someone who has the knowledge about the industry and know how those funds can be channeled into their various aspects. So that eventually, Edo State alone, do you know that when the entertainment industry is looked into thoroughly, it can generate funds. Let's take, for example, we have tourist attractions in this state, whereby if funds are, channeled towards this, it's going to boost the economic situation of that locality. And that can be done. Like I said, if the government does not come into this, you see, the private individuals can only do what they can. But once the government, they have the backing of the government, a certain budget is channeled towards this. It's going to boost the economy, especially in Edo State, because we want to talk about ours, especially in Edo State. If the governor can budget a certain amount to the industry, it's going to go a long way. Talking about sports, football, for example. Do you know that football is underdeveloped in Edo State? There are a lot of talents.
Bende Assurance is there, and we are on top of the league.
You see,
You think we are still not doing well?
Going to the grassroots, we have a lot of talent. I have a football academy, but the challenge I had was funds. When I look at the little guys with talent, skills, sometimes I will sit down and begin to lament deep down. These are wasting away. Good players. But what do we do? Because if funds does not come from somewhere, you as an individual, you can't take it all by yourself. It becomes difficult.
But the thing is, sometimes some things are available. No job is there, for instance, and it's all encompassing. I don't think, to an extent, some of these youth don't want to embrace this agency that is available for them, because there are times you see programs going on, adverts are being made, and the target audience, they don't show up. Dr. Herring, don't you think that's a cause of concern?
Yes, it's actually a cause of concern. My colleague here, really addressed this matter very, very well. However, from my perspective, after traveling to different states in Nigeria, I want to commend the Edo State government, because they are doing a fantastic job so far, based on my observation. Yesterday, I had an audition, and you will be so amazed the kind of talents that were expressed in Edo State. It was amazing. It looked to me at some point like everyone who comes up to express what they have is so good as an actor. So good. I mean, whatever we demanded, they gave. And these young people wouldn't have had this opportunity to meet me and then be auditioned if not the Edo State government, because it was the Edo State government that organized the audition using Edo Jobs. So I feel, and then I spoke briefly with the executive director of Edo Jobs, and I realized that these opportunities are there, but a lot of people within the state are not taking advantage of these opportunities. I do not know if the advertisement is not done enough, if the publicity is not enough, but somewhere along the line, I have only just observed that maybe because of, it could just be because of distrust of consistent failures, and then there is now a perception that this will not work. They would only start it to make more money, and then it will not work. However, I want to, so I could only advise that the government, while they are dealing with us and doing all of these things, let them intensify their publicity so that more people will be aware. The reason is this: a lot of foreigners are already stepping into this industry, this entertainment industry we're talking about. I have two friends, Mr. George Owell Stevenson. They're coming to Nigeria. They're coming to Edo State
to explore the talent.
to explore the talent. Now, you ask yourself, do you think that Netflix is not a business organization that would make it in 2013 say we're investing $8 billion US in Nollywood? Do you think that if they invest $8 billion US, have you sat back to calculate how many people subscribe? In fact, I feel to a very large extent, because you have Netflix, you have Hulu, you have Tubi, a lot of such platforms at the same level as Netflix before they got into Nigeria. It was the Nigerian market, over 250 million people. It was the Nigerian market that actually
gave
boosted.
Netflix a face.
Exactly. So they have seen the business prospects. If these foreign companies are already exploiting directly or indirectly a movie, maybe we make about 700 million maximum, or 1 billion maximum from a film. These people can make as much. I sat back one day to do my calculations, and I realized that from the movie that they pay us, maybe they pay us 800 million or 1 billion, they have made about 10 billion or 20 billion from that film, considering the subscriptions that come from such films. So the government should look into it and see that somebody else is already plucking from the farm that they have invested
So I think
in.
after this segment, we're going to see and talk about that. It's like I'm a script writer too. So let's come back now to Pharmacist Rambo. A new government is coming in by Monday fully. The president-elect will be taking over the baton of leadership. Do you think he should start focusing on the economy that is already failing? Recession is everywhere. Germany, they just woke up to recession recently. So do you think he should start focusing and channeling his energy towards entertainment, or which aspect should he start from?
Like the news, the paper review you did just now said the toughest job in the world so far.
Await him.
Await him. So, in fact, the president-elect has a lot to battle with, a lot. So if we're talking about him focusing all his attention on the entertainment industry, I don't think that would be a good advice. Because
Really?
Yes, because...
But we just said the entertainment industry have prospects. It can boost the economy.
It does, but a nation that is not in peace, nothing can work. So security is very important. You can't shoot a movie in a place where there's an upheaval, civil crisis. You can't do that. So we know, you and I know.
I don't know, that's why you're here.
We know the major problem we have in this country.
All right.
And that should be the first issue tackle.
Security.
And once that is done, every other thing begins to fall in place. And notwithstanding, no entertainment can work properly without power.
Okay.
We need power. That is very important. Then you can begin to talk about entertainment. But definitely, I would like him, at least a certain percent, a certain budget should be allocated to entertainment.
Okay, I'm sure you're going to have a different view, Dr. Harry.
Well, ironically, I do not have a different view.
Really?
I do not. I totally agree with our pharmacist here. There are certain things that would not work if other things are not being equal. For instance, now, in the production process of a film, you will cut down the cost of production immensely if the problem of power is taken care of.
Okay.
Because pre-production, we need power. Production process, we need lights, we need, we need to power our process. And providing this power for ourselves, then post-production, we equally need power consistently. Now, there are some jobs we do on post-production level that the power must not trip off.
Oh, okay.
We must, while we are rendering all of that, there must be
supply.
consistent power. So you can imagine how much is being spent in this process to generate power for ourselves. So he shouldn't focus on entertainment. I also want to use this opportunity to request that I know that during the last election there was a lot of antagonisms,
Okay.
from entertainers. So there should not be. Let's get to that.
We even had different factions.
Exact of entertainers.
Yes.
But then the major entertainers in Nigeria, when I mean the major, the people at the apex, to a very large extent, not all of them, let's say about 70% or thereabout, may have directly or indirectly expressed their own point of view, and disbelieve in the incoming government. So, but then we should not be vengeful. We should move forward. We should look forward. Forgive on both sides. You know, we are, and then plan the future together. So dealing with the issue of national unity, national integration, all-inclusiveness in the administrative purpose process, not saying because your faction did not support my administration or what I stand for, we cut you off, we deal with you, because dealing with entertainers is dealing with the nation. This is the only product that Nigeria can boost off.
Okay. All right, as we begin to wrap up now, we have young guys that are coming up with beautiful prospects, but they don't know where to go. And of course, if a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So what advice do you have now for these young or upcoming artists, as we call them?
Well, first and foremost, if we're looking at the movie industry, because our discussion is majorly centered on that because I've observed it. So, well, you see, it has to be a gift and talent. If you're not cut out for it, I would rather advise you look for your passion. Okay. You see, there are some individuals that are gifted naturally. When they stand and perform on that first spot, the producer knows that this is a talent. They know. So my advice is look for what suits you. Look for what you have a clinic for. Do not try to be someone else. Okay. Because you feel that the entertainment industry or the movie industry, there's money to be made, so I want to be an actor, I want to be an actress, and when you don't have what it takes to be one. So just take off that and look for what is your passion and focus on that and continue to develop on yourself, and definitely every day you're going to get better. Whatever you keep doing every day that you have passion for, you're going to become better at it. Okay.
Just for the record, the discussion is not centered on the film industry. We've touched almost every aspect of entertainment. All right, that's just for record purpose. So let's quickly come to you, Doc. We have entertainers that live, they live above board. What I mean by that, they spend money anyhow. Is that there's money like that in entertainment? You just see a young boy, a young girl coming into the industry, and before you know, they are buying houses of hundreds of millions. They're driving big cars, flying from one private jet to another. And it makes some people feel like, are we part of this nation?
Well, the truth is, we have segmentation as long as the industry, the entertainment industry is concerned. But we must all agree that there's one thing that fame gives you. Fame gives you access. When you are known, you have access to a lot of places. I
think it's your response now is the reason why Pharmacy is thinking we are focusing the discussion here now. Let's also touch those that are in the music industry too.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
So I'm not specific. I'm not I know that I'm a filmmaker. So most of the answers that I would give was streamed from the area of my experience. But I would also want to say that I'm associated with the comedy industry, the music industry as well, even the sports industry, as well. And no matter the industry you belong, that's the genre of entertainment you do, at some point you'll become famous. Okay. As a footballer, you would at some point, whatever you do, you become famous. Fame gives access. Now, the bad news is that this access that it gives now makes you desirable. Okay, Doc. And it can be used negatively. So some of the people you have just mentioned who live above their mates, some of them have gone into activities and they are not making their money basically through entertainment. Okay. But they succeed because of
time is no longer our friend right now. You know, of course, it doesn't wait for anyone. I will be wrapping it up for me. I just hope we can stretch this discussion some other time. Hope if we put a call through, we'll still have you guys join us. Thank you, Pharmacist Rabo, for taking time. And of course, Dr. Henry Obidi for being part of the show. Well, this one will be drawing the curtain for Business This Week on ITV. I remain Daniel Praise Osedebame. Do have yourself a lovely weekend ahead. Bye for now.